Welcome back to Stoic Golden Tribe, the home for men who think deeper, love wiser, and live stronger. There's a point every man reaches when silence stops being peace and becomes pain. He was once calm, patient, gentle, and understanding, but over time, her words cut deeper, her actions tested his limits, and his kindness was mistaken for weakness. This is the story of how a patient man, a man who tried to love, understand, and forgive, can slowly be turned into an angry man, not because he wants to be, but because his soul grows tired of being misunderstood. In this video, we'll break down how this transformation happens, step by step, and what every man must learn before patience turns into rage, because behind every angry man, there was once a man who simply wanted peace. Chapter 1. The beginning of his patience. Every man starts with a pure heart, one that believes love can conquer misunderstanding, that peace can be kept through calmness, and that patience can fix what pride has broken. He listens more than he speaks. He chooses peace over arguments. He forgives when he's hurt because he believes love is stronger than ego. At first, she admires this. She says he's different. She says he's rare. She feels safe around him because he doesn't explode, he doesn't fight, he doesn't run. He carries her storms in silence, thinking his calm will teach her peace. But what he doesn't know is that silence, when misunderstood, becomes an open door for disrespect. Slowly, she begins to test his boundaries. Small things at first, ignoring his words, taking his patience for granted, dismissing his emotions because he never gets mad. And each time, he chooses to hold it in because he believes that a real man controls his emotions. But here's the truth every man must learn. Patience without limits becomes a silent prison. When a man keeps absorbing disrespect in the name of peace, he doesn't stay calm. He begins to rot inside. The same patience that once made him admirable now becomes the weapon that destroys his spirit. Because every man, no matter how calm, has a breaking point, and that breaking point is where the transformation begins. Drop a comment below. Have you ever stayed patient for too long, hoping things would change? Chapter 2. The weight of silent pain. At first, he convinces himself that everything is fine. He tells himself, she doesn't mean it. He believes that love requires endurance, that good men must tolerate more, forgive more, and understand more. So he swallows his hurt. He smiles when he's breaking. He comforts her, even when she's the one who caused the storm. But what he doesn't see is that every time he stays quiet when he should speak, a small part of him dies. His thoughts become heavy. His nights become longer. And soon, his silence is no longer a choice. It's exhaustion. He starts feeling invisible, not because he stopped talking, but because she stopped listening. The same woman who once loved his calmness now calls him distant. The same patience she admired now feels like weakness to her. And the man who once held her with gentleness begins to wonder if love was ever meant to feel this one-sided. He looks at himself in the mirror and doesn't recognize the man he sees. The spark is gone. The fire that once burned with hope has turned into smoke, quiet, suffocating, and sad. This is the stage where a man doesn't explode. He erodes. He becomes quieter, colder, and emotionally numb. And when a man reaches this point, something dangerous begins to grow inside him. Resentment. Because love can survive many things. We need distance, mistakes, even pain. But no love survives when one person feels unheard and unseen. Drop a comment below. Have you ever felt invisible while giving your all? Chapter 3. When patience turns into fire. Every man has a threshold, a point where silence no longer feels like strength, but suppression. When you bury your voice long enough, it doesn't disappear. It grows louder inside your chest. And that's what begins to happen to him. The once calm man the listener, the forgiver, the one who carried peace in his eyes, starts to feel a storm he can't control. Not because he suddenly wants to fight, but because his soul has been fighting for too long without being heard. It begins subtly. He stops smiling as often. He becomes distant, not out of pride, but protection. His laughter fades, his texts shorten, and his presence feels colder. Not because he stopped caring, but because caring has started to hurt. He's tired of explaining himself. Tired of being misunderstood. Tired of being treated like his emotions don't matter just because he doesn't shout. Then one day, it happens. The words that once rolled off his back finally stick. The disrespect that once felt small now burns, and for the first time he doesn't stay quiet. His voice cracks, not with rage, but release. He says things he's held back for months, maybe years. He's not trying to destroy her, he's trying to save himself, because there's only so much a man can hold before the pain starts leaking through his patience. And when he finally speaks up, she looks shocked. "How can you be so angry?" she asks. But what she doesn't understand is that this anger was never sudden. It was built slowly, piece by piece, through every ignored feeling and dismissed emotion. A patient man doesn't just become angry overnight. He becomes angry when the peace he offered is taken for granted. He becomes angry when his loyalty is mistaken for weakness. He becomes angry when he realizes that no matter how much he gives, it's never enough. That's when the transformation completes. The same man who once fixed problems now avoids them. The same man who once stayed to heal now walks away to protect his soul. Because even the kindest heart grows cold when it's mishandled too long. And this is the tragedy of many modern men, and they don't start with rage, they end with it. They start with patience and with love, with effort, until the woman who once loved them teaches them to build walls instead of bridges. When that day comes, he no longer argues. He detaches. He no longer seeks to prove a point. He seeks peace elsewhere. And that's when she finally sees the cost of her actions. Not in his words, but in his absence. Drop a comment below. Have you ever reached the point where you stopped explaining and simply walked away? Chapter 4. The Awakening, from Anger to Awareness. When a patient man finally breaks, something powerful awakens within him. It's not just anger, it's truth. The truth about who he is, what he's tolerated, and what he truly deserves. For so long, he believed that love meant endurance, that real men should carry pain in silence. But now he realizes something far greater. Silence without boundaries is self-betrayal. And that's when the shift begins. Not in his tone, but in his spirit. He starts to see that the anger he feels isn't weakness. It's a signal that his soul has had enough of carrying what was never his to hold. That his peace is not meant to be a punishment, but a reward for how he lives. He stops chasing closure. He stops explaining himself to those who choose not to understand. He stops proving his loyalty to those who test it. Instead, he learns the art of letting go, not to escape pain, but to create space for peace. It's in this silence that his wisdom is born. He looks back at the version of himself who tolerated too much and whispers, "Never again." He begins to rebuild, slowly, quietly, intentionally. He learns to enjoy his own company. He rediscovers his dreams. He focuses on his goals, his growth, his discipline. And what's beautiful is the world begins to notice. His energy changes. His presence feels stronger. He no longer seeks validation because self-respect has replaced approval. He no longer begs to be understood because he now understands himself. And when she sees this new man, she may try to come back. But he's no longer the same. The man who once waited, tolerated, and begged for peace has now become the embodiment of it. He speaks less, but his silence carries power. He gives less, but what he gives has value. He no longer reacts emotionally. he responds with purpose. That's the beauty of evolution. Anger, when mastered, becomes direction. Pain, when understood, becomes wisdom. And solitude, when embraced, becomes freedom. So to every man listening, your patience is noble, but it should never cost your self-respect. If she turns your calmness into frustration, your loyalty into suffering, or your love into confusion, walk away, not to hurt her, but to heal yourself. Because sometimes walking away is the loudest statement a man can make. It says, my peace matters more than your chaos. It says, my heart deserves gentleness too. And it says, I am no longer the man you could break and still keep. This is how a patient man becomes wise, not bitter. This is how he transforms his pain into peace. And this is how he earns the quiet power of a man who finally knows his worth. Drop a comment below. What helped you turn your pain into peace? Every man has two choices when life tests his patience: to stay broken by what hurt him, or to rise wiser from what taught him. If you've ever been the man who gave everything, who stayed calm, who loved deeply, and ended up being misunderstood, remember this. Your strength was never in how long you endured, but in how well you rose after being pushed to your limits. The world doesn't need more angry men, it needs awakened men. Patient, disciplined, and strong enough to walk away from anything that disturbs their peace. That's the true spirit of the Stoic Golden Tribe. So if today's message spoke to your soul, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell, because here we help men like you grow stronger in mind, wiser in love, and unshakable in life. And for those who want to go deeper, to unlock exclusive lessons, behind-the-scenes talks, and advanced videos made only for the inner circle, join my membership today and become part of the Brotherhood. Join this channel. Remember, a man's patience is a gift, but his peace is sacred. Protect it, honor it, live by it. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe.